Are we finally gonna get the great stain of 2022 cleaned up? The great stain from the 58 Apache that is so shiny in the sun right now, it says you can't even look at me. Oh yeah, she's shiny like a hiney. In fact, she looks mighty finey. That was a stretch on rhyming there, wasn't it? I don't just say this truck looks good because it has a good color choice on the paint color and wheels or nothing, okay? Not that I'm partial or anything. This one is the one we're actually gonna work on today. And I love to work outside on it in the sun. I can't talk. I'd love to work on it outside in the sun, but it sure is windy and I don't want it to butcher up our audio. I showed y'all that in one of the videos where I struggled to get a gas tank in it, but we got a gas tank in it. Then we put some new air compressors on it. And then I realized the air compressors were not the problem. It was the breaker is the problem. One of the problems with an S on the end. One of the other problems was the alternator had the eyelet broken right off at the back, so we need to fix that. I know the battery's kind of on her last leg. She will hold a charge, but she ain't liking it. So we need to try to get her fired up again, get her pulled in here where we're out of the wind. See if we can't do a little work on it. My friend, ha! Pulled off that rhyme too. I may have forgot to order a battery for it, so the parts house is supposed to be bringing me one right now. We're gonna see if the old jump pack will get her dead. Woo, baby! Oh man, I forgot about the radiator cap. I stole it to put on the 58, so we're gonna have to steal it back. Well, I'm just a parts robbing machine, ain't I? Well, hello, good looking. We'll get you a new one of these ordered. How's that? There we go. Put her where she came from. We'll put that there. Hopefully we don't get no sparking and arcing. And I ain't started her since last time, so it's probably gonna take a minute to get some fuel up to her. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Yeah. Let's set that choke and let her warm up a little bit. Then we're gonna see if we can't finagle it into this shop. Did y'all hear how them compressors just turned off? Well, they weren't supposed to. Did you see how they just turned themselves back on? They should have never turned themselves off. This truck needs some rear end work is what it really needs. You know, I put a 700 R4 in this thing and it's so tall geared in the rear end that I never even have it in overdrive. You can still run 75 in third gear, no problem. Yeah, but that'll slap like some 373s in her or something, get a better gear ratio. I think she's got like damn 292s, so she's ready to basically if we could use overdrive and keep her floored and get her up there, she's ready to set a land speed record. We take her to the salt flats, run a mile. We hit a top speed, probably 346 miles per hour. She could do it. So I think we'll get that off there, and we're gonna start underneath the hood. We're gonna start right here where our wire had broke off of our eyelet, or our eyelet broke, I guess, and our alternator is no longer hooked up. She looks like she was heavily corroded in there. At first I thought it may have got hot, but it didn't melt none of this plastic, so I doubt it got hot. It may just got corroded. And I think I showed in the last video I'd put my meter on there and I tested that, and she was putting out like 38 to 40-ish volts. And then someone commented, and I know this, guys, as soon as I read it I was like, yep, you dang right that they're right. If that thing ain't hooked up to a battery, it ain't gonna self-regulate. So what I'm saying is we need to connect this and then have it to some type of battery like that before we put a meter there and see what it's really putting out. So let's fix this then. I know y'all see that she's a true one wire, okay? She ain't got the little jumper wire from over there or whatever. She's also held in place with a custom dimple die bracket. Boy, does that look good. I bet you a stud built that thing, didn't he? So the question here is, do we got enough wire to reach to put a new eyelet on this? And I think we will have. Let's see what we can do here. Hey-yo, be careful. Wise guy here didn't disconnect our ground over there, but I did now. We're gonna trim this end, see what she looks like in here. Hell yeah, she got toasty warm all right. Boy, she sure did. She got hot way back in there. Hey, there's some fresh copper. So I don't know if stuff was shorting, if all the power this thing pulls when that battery was dying, the alternator's trying to supply everything, guys. I don't know what got it hot, but it definitely got it hot. So basically, we're gonna trim this back and have to add in a piece here, unfortunately. Just gonna trim all that off. All right, now we gotta find us a piece to extend that with, I reckon. Just build custom trucks, they said. It'll be fun, they said. Get you an international farm model tractor and you'll get you a beautiful wife, is what they said. By golly, that one's true. Just playing, my wife don't give no damn about my tractor. Got some 10 gauge right here I reckon we'll use. And we will see if we can't break that. That's good. We will see if we can't get her fixed up. And crimp that. Hit her with a little solder job. Slide us on some of that beautiful plastic sheathing, heck, wire loom, whatever you want to call it. The stuff looks good, that's all I know. Watch that, don't even fit that stud. I'm gonna go check it just in case. Oh, it's tight, but it fits. GUD, that should be good to go. Get our two wires twisted together here. Come on, baby. Oh yeah, we want a good mean twist like that right there. Then I'm gonna very delicately bring in my fine tip soldering torch. Just fine tune that baby out. And one of these days I'm gonna remember to grab me a soldering iron online or something. Of course, then we're gonna heat shrink that. And now we gotta see if we can get our little old wire loom looking half decent again. Maybe not. If all else fails, just put a big old piece of heat shrink over it. I'll heat shrink every damn wire on this rig. Now, I mean, I wish it was all that plastic, nice looking loom, but it is what it is. And this is better than, I guess, seeing that other crap. That's what you get for not paying attention, damn it. Luckily, that kind of hides underneath them heater hoses. You can't even see her. Little torque on that, baby. And as I heat shrink this, I'll try not to burn anything else. How's that? Unfortunately, guys, accidents just happen, even when you use precision equipment. Get that tightened up, and you know what? We'll take it. Jeez Louise. We're going to have to knock the dust off this old yellow top they sent me. God dang. This thing's already 10 months old. I ain't even got it. Buy a new battery. Get one that's been sitting for a year. So our little battery holder is designed for a Optima battery, so that's why one's going back in. Them half-assers don't even give us a terminal cover for the negative side. Well, I just don't know about them. She's probably lost her charge sitting on the shelf for a year. This thing I built just whoop, slips over that. That one goes there. That goes there. Guess I've never really paid attention to the dates that come on new batteries. So maybe that's fairly common for something like that to happen. I've also never worried about the dates on one because I've never got one plumb covered in dust. Yeah. Gonna get them nice and snug. Damn hidden wire central underneath the hood of this baby. Snug them. Let's fire her up. And we will see what the meter has to say about how much voltage we got coming out that old alternator. Yeah, it's been a while since she's had a strong battery like that one. Hearing it just crank the way it did, I mean busting right off. I don't know if the camera synced it, but after having her a time or two and exciting that thing, it was at low idle doing about 13.3. Revving it up some, it was dang near hitting 14, right at 14 volts. So alternator's charging. I think we just had a really bad battery. She would hold a little charge, but not for what this thing was consuming. With that good battery, them compressors back there, when they are working, they sound like they're in damn kill mode now. Those things ain't been screaming like that in a minute neither. So next, we're gonna disconnect our positive again. Boy, I ain't gonna know what to do not having a leaking gas tank and a dead battery every time I want to drive. Looks like we need a big old Phillips. You spend tens of thousands of dollars a year with your parts house, and maybe you too will get a free 3/4. Maybe you'll get a free $2 headlamp. They gave me a $2 headlamp. I guess that makes up for the year-old battery. Hell, I know a good deal when I hear one. Now the question is our new one the same pattern, or is she slightly different? I can tell you what our new one is, and that ain't a super duper cheap one. Like, these are like 4 for 17 bucks or something on the Amazon. This one itself was like 50 something bucks. But just picking it up, you can definitely feel the difference. Quality part, junk I should have never installed on my truck. Thought we were gonna have to drill us a new hole, but no says I. She's gonna go right on in. And not be mad at a 1-for-1 swap, guys. Boop. Reset that. Guess we'll get fancy here and pop our little rubber nipples on the studs. And that should be good to go. Hooked our battery back up. Good gracious almighty. That thing's gonna pump air so fast it ain't gonna know what to do with it all. Radio's on, just getting some static here. Now I wish we were done on the inside, but we are not, because we're gonna put a new fuel gauge in her. When we had the gas tank out, I showed y'all with the center and the gauge. We checked the ohms on that, and it appeared to be working, so I'm not so worried it's messed up. I'm curious if our fuel gauge ain't messed up. And we gotta have a 1/2 inch, because to actually be able to pull this up and out, we gotta drop the column down, which, yeah, fun stuff. So there'll be this bolt here and this bolt here, and of course we got our brake switch in the way and little support rod and blah blah blah. Got another bracket right there that I loosened. Of course, then I'm gonna go across here, total of what, 6 screws. This truck's been on the road for like 5 years now, guys, and I'm trying to think of issues I've ever had with it. And all this little crap we're fixing is pretty much collected or accumulated, I guess you'd say, within the last 2 years. What I'm saying is, for 3 years of use on a full custom build, done all the wiring, built the whole chassis, whole truck front to back. I ain't mad at it. Gotta be kind of careful taking this out because we don't want to pull on wires and unplug crap. Gotta pull the speedo cable or it ain't gonna come out at all. Our temp gauge light wasn't working, and our voltmeter light, now that I think about it, the temp gauge one, the wire had just popped off. No big deal. The voltmeter's still not working. Maybe the bulb has a bad connection. Bulb still looks fine from what I can see. We'll just pull her out of there and replace the gauge and then see if we can get all the lights happy. Pulled that out. You just take the 3 nuts off them studs and that kind of retains it. That looks like her to me, kinda. Oh, that's good. Give me an orange needle instead of black. That'll look super classy in there. I reckon this will have to work for now, if it works. Slapped her back together with the orange needle bandit there, and boy does that look good, huh? Got all of our lights working, but I also know this tank's damn near out of fuel, so we're gonna go fill her up before because the gauge ain't reading nothing. She's reading empty right now. When you get down to like a couple gallons, this truck always reads that it's empty anyways, so we better go fill her up before we make any assumptions. That looks terrible. Yeah, pull out in front of me. I'll smack you to the other side of Pot County. Ask for some brains for Christmas. I did not mean that. Lord, I apologize. Well, the good news is we still ain't got no fuel gauge. The reason I say good news is with any luck, that fuel gauge that we took out that actually has a black needle, not a damn safety cap from a shoot gun orange tip or whatever. Y'all know what color I'm talking about on the end of them cap guns, but you know it's not a real gun. And that's what I've got for a damn fuel gauge needle now. Anyhow, with any luck, we can figure out what the problem is, and the other fuel gauge is good, and then we'll have matching needles again. From a troubleshooting standpoint though, the same 12 volts powers all the gauges, so we know it's getting 12 volts up there because the other gauges are working. I checked the fuel sender when we had it out. It appeared to be working, so we got to make sure that, like I said, the tank's grounded. And once we get it grounded, if we still ain't reading nothing, obviously we've got a break in our wire between the sender all the way up here to the gauge. Well, shit the bed, Fred. Got us a ground jumper wire here. I've grounded it to just about everything you can imagine, and no matter what I do here, our fuel gauge ain't moving up. But watch this. Let's move that to right there. We're gonna ground out our sender where it usually kind of adjusts the amount of resistance it sends. You ground that sucker out and hey, we got a full gauge. So we know the sender's grounded and we're not getting nothing up here. So problem has to be in that damn sender. Wiggle this sucker out of here. So with her pulled out like this, let's see what happens. So it's trying to work. We're gonna try to clean on this some, maybe get her a better connection, but we may have to end up replacing this. So it looks like if we pop this float out of here, that whole little thing's gonna come apart. We'll take some of her fine, super fine, in fact the finest they make, steel wool here, and clean this up. Quick little polish job here. And we're gonna clean this part, and that's the part that drags along that to make a connection. And I'm gonna bend that spring over, give her a little more spring tension there. Y'all watch this in here for me. Shoot, she was working, so as long as we can get this in there, hooked back up and grounded, hopefully it'll work. Hey yo, we got a fuel gauge again right there, folks. No extra grounding necessary. We got her all together, guys. This whole thing looks pretty cool. I kind of get get busy here lately and overlook it, but she's a tough looking truck. Got that all buttoned up, all back here buttoned up. After he buffed out that Apache the other day, we were kind of eyeballing this thing, and as you can tell, she's got a few different colors. There's that paint job. At one point it was that color. At another point, I guess it was the color underneath that. And I'm just curious how these paints are gonna handle trying to buff on it, if any of them's gonna wanna shine back. I reckon we can try right here on the tailgate, because we've got a good variety to choose from there. Now obviously this ain't as good as buffing like Slick does with his actual buffer, but it'll kind of give us a idea if it's gonna work or not. Kind of wipe on her a little bit, and yeah, every every single different color there appeared to shine up some. Hey, I kind of like that. All right, Slick, get your buffer ready. We're gonna buff out old Gertrude. Well, I reckon we'll go do a little test driving, and I've got to take this nice fender back to Ray, where we got our wagon from. So we'll just test drive to his house. I'm gonna give him his steel wheel back too. All right, guys, I appreciate y'all watching. Nothing crazy here, but you know, stuff you gotta do to keep your fleet of vehicles happy as you drive them, and crap just happens to go bad. It's part of it, guys. Let me know what y'all think about maybe changing up the wheels for a little bit. I'm not saying we'll get rid of the white steelies forever, but I don't know. I've kind of been on this like hot rod kick, hot rod influence kick type thing here lately. Anyhow, and also, what do you think about maybe giving a little buff job to this old girl, buff her out a little bit? I appreciate you guys watching. Trying desperately to get y'all videos through these holidays, days, weeks, whatever. Oh, guys, it's a lot. Anyhow, we appreciate all the support. Be expecting some new merch drops and some restocks come January, early January. And I reckon I will see you guys next time. But don't forget, sitting on your ass won't finish your project. Hot damn, there's so much BS-ery, we had to start a whole channel for all the extras. Be sure to go check out Puddin's Fab Shop if you ain't seen that baby yet. Come on!